Let me paint a picture for you. You finally get in the room you prayed for, you worked for, you hustled for. And instead of standing tall, something inside you whispers, but do I really belong here? You question your value, your voice, and your worth. And suddenly the moment that was supposed to be your breakthrough feels like an accident, like someone made a mistake in opening the door for you. But I want to tell you something that might just shift everything. You didn't just end up here. You were led here. And the moment you start trusting the process, the lessons, and your own intuition is the moment that you finally rise into the version of you that was meant to stand there in the first place. Today, we're not talking about confidence that's loud. We're talking about confidence that's rooted. And this is for anyone who's ever felt like an imposter in their own dream. We love a highlight reel, the moment everything clicks. But the truth is growth is messy. It's awkward, it's non-linear. Sometimes it looks like being passed over. Other times it looks like a door closing. And yes, sometimes it looks like rejection, but it's really a redirection. I once applied for a role that I knew I was made for. Crushed the interview, gave everything I had, put on my best self, and still got a no. For a moment, I was frustrated. I questioned everything. But a few months later, I got offered a different opportunity, one that I didn't even apply for, that ended up changing the trajectory of my life. Had I had gotten the first job, I would have missed the opportunity. And one of the things that we need to establish is you don't need all the answers right now. And I've often heard that God doesn't show us the entire picture. He might show you the dream, but he don't show you all the drama you're gonna go through on the way to the dream. Because if he did, you probably wouldn't start walking. But what is beneficial is to train yourself to trust that your current process isn't punishing you, it's preparing you. What part of your process do you keep resisting? What might it be trying to teach you? Life is a relentless teacher, and not every lesson feels fair, by the way. And sometimes it puts you in a situation where you feel broken. But just because something broke you doesn't mean that it wasted you. And I submit this thought to you. Every single thing that didn't work out shaped the strength that you don't even know that you have yet. Think of a seed buried into the ground. It's dark, it's uncomfortable, but it is the very place where the seed begins to grow. Your hardest lessons don't bury you, they plant you. And I want you to remember this thought. Nothing is wasted in the hands of purpose. And the thing is, the more you challenge yourself to trust the lessons, the less you'll resent the process. What is the hardest lesson that you've learned in the last 12 months? What did it teach you about who you're becoming? There's a voice inside of each and every one of us that isn't loud, but it's wise. It's the voice that nudges you towards opportunity. It's the voice that says, say yes when everything feels uncertain. It's the very voice that says, hey, you're not done yet when you feel like giving up. That's not just your gut, it's your guidance. And too often, we outsource our decisions to other people's approval, like driving with a GPS, but stopping every 5 minutes to ask everyone on the street for directions. You good, bruh? You got Waze up. Google Maps is up. You didn't pay your bill, huh? And whenever we ignore our inner GPS and start asking everyone else for directions, we get lost pretty quickly. Stop overriding your own knowing because you're afraid of being wrong. Trusting your intuition, it doesn't mean that you're going to be comfortable, but it does mean that you'll always be in alignment. I challenge you to begin your mornings with the question, what is my intuition telling me today, and where have I been ignoring it? The theme of imposter syndrome has become huge over the last few years. And without going off into the deep end of it, I want to tell you that imposter syndrome doesn't show up because you're inadequate. No, baby. It shows up because you're growing. You're stepping into something unfamiliar, something bigger than the last version of yourself. And the very tension that you feel, it's not a sign to shrink. It's proof that you're stretching. I once stood on a stage I dreamed about for years. And right before I stepped out, palms got sweaty, I was pacing the floor. I started feeling like I was just gonna fall out. And for a minute, I thought, who am I to do this? But here's what I learned, is you don't wait to feel like you belong. You choose it. You don't need permission to be powerful. Sometimes when that imposter syndrome comes up, it's helpful to lean on the faith of others. You might be saying, listen, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why they chose me for this. They could have chose anybody else, but they chose me. Why? And instead of asking that question, in that moment, realize, but they chose you, which means they possibly have seen something in you that you failed to acknowledge. And I want you to repeat this after me. I didn't just end up here. I'm built for this. My presence is not a mistake. It's an assignment. When you trust the process, the pain has a purpose. When you trust the lessons, setbacks gain meaning. When you trust your intuition, clarity replaces confusion. And ultimately, when you trust that you belong, you stop asking for a seat and start owning the table. And the shift isn't loud, but it's real, it's powerful. It's the shift from constantly second guessing yourself to standing on solid ground. It's the shift from asking, why me, to why not me? And I challenge you, in the next 24 hours, do one thing from a place of trust. Maybe it's applying for an opportunity, reaching out to a specific person, sharing your idea. And when you do it, enter into it with the mindset of, even if I don't see the result yet, I trust that I'm being led. Imagine a woman walking into a massive conference room. It's filled with the leaders she admires, authors, speakers, entrepreneurs, people whose names hold weight. Every chair has a name tag on it, but she doesn't see hers. So she stands in the back quietly, waiting, doubting, shrinking. A woman she recognizes walks by and whispers, "Hey girl, why are you standing back here? It's weird." She responds, "I didn't see my name on any of the chairs. I don't think I belong in that circle." The woman smiles, pauses, and says something that stays forever. Maybe the reason your name isn't on any of these chairs is because you were never meant to sit in someone else's seat. You were meant to build your own table. And in that moment, she stopped looking for proof, started trusting the process. She stopped waiting for a seat and chose to take up space. Because sometimes the greatest evidence that you belong in a room is the fact that you were called to walk into it before your name was even printed in front of the chair. Listen, you are not here by accident. You didn't click on this video just to see what Aaron had to say. You didn't stumble into your purpose. You didn't luck into your gift. You're not too late, and no, you're not too much. You are being refined. You are being shaped. You are being led. So here's what I want you to remember. Trust the process. Trust the lesson. Trust your intuition. And most of all, trust that you belong in every room that called you to it. In the comments, I want you to type, "I belong here." We're not waiting for proof anymore. We're walking into purpose. Always remember that growth is a journey, it's not a destination. I'm in it with you, and I'll see you on the next one.